Hi, in this video we're going to look at the pen tool, the movement tools to make a car move across the screen and bring it all together to make what is a very simple basic type of racing game. So firstly I'm going to grab a sprite and I'm going to grab a transportation sprite. So I'm going to get transportation and I want something that I can move around the screen like a car, so I'm going to select that. I also want to make it smaller because I'm going to draw on my stage later, so I'm going to right click and go resize this sprite. And I'm going to drag it to make it smaller. So I've got my sprite in there. We're now going to set it up that whenever we press some keys on the keyboard, it's going to control our car. So I'm going to go to the control block and drag across when space key is pressed. I actually want not to use the space key, but you can choose whatever you want, but I'm going to say when the number 1 is pressed, I want motion, I want to move. So when the 1 key is pressed, I want to move 1 step. So we should know what that looks like. When I click on that, my car will move 1 step across the screen, and if I was to run the flag and press the 1 key, that would activate it. When I press the 1 key, the car moves. Now, as this is a very quick, basic game, I'm going to go back to control, and I want it to be that when I press other keys on the keyboard, it's going to move. It's not going to move the car, sorry, it's going to flip the car. So it's going to face up, down, left and right. So I want to bring 4 for up, down, left and right, and I'm going to set these up for certain keys. So when the up arrow is pressed, when the down arrow is pressed, when the right arrow is pressed, and when the left arrow is pressed. I need to go back to motion, and in this one we actually want to use the block point in direction. So I want to point it in certain directions. So up, what would be up? Well, if I don't know, I'd just be able to look here and it would tell me, well, 0 is up. Point in direction down, so when I go here, 180 is down. Point in direction I want right, so 90 degrees is right, and point in direction left is minus 90. So once again, when I press the green flag to start, if I press the 1 key, my car moves. If I press the up arrow, it looks up, left moves left, down, down, right. So we can make that illusion of driving very slowly. If I want to speed that up, I would move more than 1 step when I press my key. So now it is going faster. So I'm using the keyboard to control my sprite. Now I want to actually be able to drive somewhere. So I'm going to create a track. So to create the track, down in the bottom right, I'm going to click on the stage. And you'll notice all my scripts disappear because I've got no scripts on the stage. I'm going to go to background and I'm going to click edit. So here we can actually paint what we want. So I'm going to click on the paint bucket tool and I'm going to choose a green color and make my background green. I'm then going to select my paintbrush. I'm going to increase my brush size to about that, and I want to draw a road, so I'm going to pick a greyish type color. And all I'm going to do is draw a very dodgy racetrack. I'm going to make it a bit thicker. This is very much just like a basic paint application, and you can draw any type of background you want. So that's my racetrack there. It's probably a little bit too thin for my car, which is big, but I can always resize the car. Okay, so I have a racetrack there. So I'm going to press OK, and now I have my car on a racetrack. So I'm going to click back on my car, and I'm going to click and drag it onto my track. So when I run this, when I press the 1 key, I can move my car with my arrows and my 1 key, and I might make the car a little bit smaller. And we're driving around the racetrack. Now the last thing I want to show in this is the pen control block, and I'm going to use it for a function here, but you could use it for anything else that you want. My car's going to drive upside down. If you're wanting to, you can think how you could flip that sprite so the car's actually the right way around. So you're able to drive around the track there. So very basic. Doesn't matter if you touch the green, we haven't set anything up there, but this is just looking at those basic principles. So as I mentioned, the last thing we want to look at is the pen tool, which is this one over here. And what we're going to use this for is we're going to pretend the car's, painting lines on the track, if you will. So we'll see how the pen tool works. I'm going to click back on my sprite, so I'm going to click on my stage, go to scripts, and we'll have nothing in there at the moment. Okay, so once I've made sure that that is empty, I'm going to go back to my sprite, and I'm just going to bring these a little bit closer together so I can bring in my next bit of code. And I'm going to click on the pen tool, and I'm going to say I want to use the pen down tool, the pen up tool, and the clear tool. So what this is, imagine it's a pen. So pen down would be like drawing on the screen, pen up would be not touching the screen, so you're not drawing, and clear will clear the pen. So I'm going to go back to control when key is pressed, and I want to say it's down, so when the D key is pressed, for up when the U key is pressed, and for clear when the C key is pressed. So when I go back over to my game and I move my car and drive, now when I press the D key, you'll see pen is down and the pen is drawing on the screen. When I press the U key, the pen is up and it's no longer drawing. So D down, the pen is drawing on the screen, U up, the pen is no longer drawing. And when I press C, it clears the pen off the screen. There's a few little principles there that you haven't seen before using the keyboard to control and also the pen tool.